Hey folks, BlackCross here, and welcome to a discussion video. It's been a while since I've done one, but I've had my reasons. Number of them is because I've been busy doing live streams and stuff like that, but another reason is because some of them haven't really been, overpoweringly needed to be discussed. Or at the very least, if there were videos that I felt like I needed to do, you know? It's one of those, okay, what is it that no one else talked about in a video like this? For example, there were times that I wanted to talk about the Dark Souls Remastered Edition, which was there was a lot of people that were talking about why the gameplay mechanic hasn't really changed because of it being remastered. I'm like, well, because it's a remaster, it's not a remake. It's just a remaster, meaning that it's just going to be a higher polygon texture type thing. But at the same time, I was like, that's not enough to make a full video. And then there was another video I wanted to do, which was that of the amiibo-esque figures that PlayStation's planning on making. But again, it was more or less of something that people had already talked about, like what figures they could do, or the fact that they didn't have the FM chip that amiibos had and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to do that. However, though, this video I actually want to do, which is going to be a deeper discussion for the latest Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer. So, in the trailer we had two particular ones. One of them was the main one, and then the other one introduced the theme song for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is Don't Think Twice. So, it was interesting to see both of them. Number one being that the official confirmed world for Monsters Incorporated, which it was a rumor for a long time, and from what we saw in terms of rumor, it was actually a really good one too. I was like, okay, quite frankly, for it to be a leaked information, or for that matter, a rumor supposedly, it's a really damn good one because they actually did really good in terms of let's put it this way. They kept saying over and over and over that this was a pre-beta built type thing, which they had the numbers and everything like that. Honestly, I don't know if the pre-beta part was true or not, or if they somehow managed to have gotten the images for Kingdom Hearts 3, and they were like, okay, well, now that we stole the information, let's go ahead and reveal it on the internet and just get a big blast of it. Or if this was a secret operative of where Square Enix chose a particular group of people and said, okay, here's a little bit of information, reveal it to the world however way you feel. And it just exploded. To go figure, though, that was actually true, and Monsters, Inc. was actually going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I have to say, before I even saw the new trailer, I was like, okay, if Monsters, Inc. really is in Kingdom Hearts 3, I am not going to lie and say that this was actually a pretty cool idea. You know, the fact that Sora, Donald, and Goofy actually have the look of monsters, and then the fact of how the world looks. And I was like, okay, if it's going to look like this, then I can't go against the ideal. It actually looks that good. You know, at first I was like, okay, Toy Story, yeah, I mean, it was the first Pixar movie to ever show up in Disney's lineup, so I'm okay with this ideal. Then I thought to myself, I was like, well, if they added others, there better be a good reason as to what one. But I couldn't think to myself, what other Pixar movie could they add, really? Because if they added Bug's Life, there would be no point to it, because not a lot of people talk about it now. And then I was like, well, what other ones? And then all of a sudden, Monsters Incorporated got rumored, and I was like, okay, I can go with Monsters Incorporated. I can go with Monsters Incorporated. And then it became confirmed. So I was like, while I wasn't majorly surprised, I was actually kind of glad that it looked at the way it did. So I was like, you know what? I like how they're doing it. I like the fact of how they look and stuff. I will admit, if I had to be a little bit nitpicky, I feel as though Sullys Face is a little bit awkward. But I say as it gets closer to its initial release, they'll do a few texture updates to help improve it. Because if you've noticed, Square Enix has done an amazing job with updating the character models within each and every trailer. Sora's face module actually looks a lot better. A few other character details have looked a lot better as well. And keep in mind, this is the first time Kingdom Hearts is put on a completely new engine entirely. So there are going to be a couple flawed details that fans are going to notice that Square Enix has overlooked. And once fans immediately respond with these new trailers and stuff, then Square Enix is on board, realizing, okay, we need to fix these things before the game even gets released. That way it can look even better, it can look even crisper. Or it could be Nomura's doing, who knows really. It's hard to say at this point. But, yeah, like I said, if I had to complain about this trailer, it would be that Sullys Face is a little bit unusual. But that's just me. That is just me personally thinking about it. It's like, okay, I know how it looks in the original Monsters Incorporated movie. Sully's face, however, looks a little weird. That is my only complaint. After that, the world looks awesome. Sora actually looks really freaking cool in his look. And I love the fact that his fur changes color when he goes into a drive form, which is pretty cool, actually. I like that feature. So, everything else, though, is pretty mind-boggling. But there are some details that people either didn't realize or they had no idea. And I'm going to be answering those questions today. So sit back and relax and enjoy every little detail that I want to go ahead and give to you guys. The first one being the key details of gameplay-wise. For the longest time, we hadn't really seen summons in Kingdom Hearts 3. We hadn't seen them. Now, the funny thing is that they kept teasing that they are going to show up in Kingdom Hearts 3. They kept saying, it's going to be in it, it's going to be in it, it's going to be in it, it's going to be in it. We hadn't seen any summons whatsoever. So it's like, okay, if they're going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, they need to show it eventually. If they don't show a summon before Kingdom Hearts 3 initial release, everybody's going to assume that that part of the detail was an absolute false statement, and there are no summons in Kingdom Hearts 3. There was a lot of drive forms and a lot of, I suppose we can call them limit break moves, but there wasn't any signs of an actual summon being activated. This time, however, we did get to see a couple summons. And I say a couple because you might as well say they are technically summons. The first one being Ariel's back in a summon form. Now, this is both good and uncomfortable news. I say good and uncomfortable for two reasons. Number one, I say good because seeing Ariel as a summon potentially means that Atlantica is not making a return in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I have nothing against Atlantica being in Kingdom Hearts. I personally like the first one better because of the fact that you actually get to fight in Atlantica. The second one, however, I can't hold back. The rhythm-based game, I'm sorry. What the hell, Square Enix, were you even thinking when you came up with that idea? It had no reason to exist. You completely screwed up the gameplay mechanic in Atlantica. So you just went with a rhythm game? You should have just cut the world out entirely and instead put it in a whole new, completely different world in its place. But honestly, I was like, oh, God. But the thing is, since Ariel is a summon, that kind of tells me that Atlantica is not going to make a reappearance in Kingdom Hearts 3. So it's a good thing. It's uncomfortable news because we don't know that. We're only assuming that, hey, if she's a summon, that means Atlantica isn't going to make an appearance. How do we know this? How do we know this? There could be a number of details as to why she's there, and it could be anything. I mean, Record, yes, she's there obviously to showcase the abilities of the summons, which I have to say are pretty cool looking in their own right. But then you have the fact of like, okay, wait, how and when do you attain her? Now, record, this is big head news anyway. It's like, why are you even concentrating on that ideal? There's no real reason to it. She's a summon. Yes, but what if you get her after visiting a particular world? Keep in mind, in Kingdom Hearts 2 case, after you visit a particular world, you do get to attain a particular summon. For example, you get summoned to Radiant Garden, aka Hollow Bastion, and Merlin gives you the ability to summon Chicken Little. After you visit Agrabah, you get the ability to summon Chini. Once you go back to Hollow Bastion during the moment of the second visit, you get the ability to summon Stitch, and then once you get back to Port Royal and open up a chest, you get to summon Peter Pan. In this case, I wonder if they didn't hide Ariel's summon within the world of Atlantis, the Lost Empire world. Now, record, there is no official confirmation saying that Atlantis, the Lost Empire is going to be a world in Kingdom Hearts 3. There was, however, one small little slight detail that was probably either leaked or false accusation that was put on a particular website. Now, record, anyone can update this page at any time, whether it be an official or some fan that decided, hey, let's put this in here and see what happens. On Wikipedia, yes, of all places, Wikipedia, there was somebody who put in the voice actor, or voice actress in this case, for Kira inside Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, that voice actress is usually credited for Kira within Atlantis, the Lost Empire. If we're to assume that that is even true, is that yes, Atlantis, the Lost Empire is going to be in it as a world. So I wouldn't doubt in my mind that if that's the case, this would be a perfect time to add Ariel as a summon within that world. But again, this is just me overthinking it as a possibility. We haven't really got a large list, but within each and every trailer, we're actually getting a little bit more revealed each time. But of course, they are saying that before its initial release, they want to reveal every world within Kingdom Hearts 3. So, technically, there are a few worlds that we have seen, and there's still one world that we have not seen, but have been a confirmed world, as I have stated multiple times. In terms of what we've seen, we've still got Twilight Town, Yangtze's Castle, which, if you wanted to be more technical, they both would be a single world, but I think they might be two separate worlds entirely. Who knows, really, but we're just going to put it as separate for the time being. You have Olympic Coliseum, Tangle's World, which I keep forgetting what it's technically called. Is Corana? Something like that. I don't remember, but you have Toy Story, Monsters Incorporated, and unless I'm forgetting another world, I want to say I am forgetting another world, but all of a sudden I'm thinking to myself, well, there has to be another one. I know there is. I know there's another world out there besides this other one that I'm going to say, and that is Sanford's Tokyo. And keep in mind, we've only been told it's going to appear in Kingdom Hearts 3 through concept art. One single concept art. We haven't really seen the actual world play out for Kingdom Hearts 3. So if it is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, we haven't seen gameplay trailer for it yet. But that's just one little detail. That's just from gameplay alone and everything like that. And in terms of like what worlds we have been and we will be seeing in Kingdom Hearts 3. Never mind the fact that the story itself continues to unravel itself and showcase more and more about what's going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3. In this trailer's case, it's done two things. Number one, it's shown two new organization members. Now, in terms of like what we have officially seen in terms of official members for the new organization, which if you don't know the details of the new organization, allow me to explain. In Dream Drop Distance, Master Xehanort explains that his plan is to have 13 selves, 13 Xehanorts, gather in one area to fight against 7 beings of light. Now, I say this because unless they are able to gather 7 Keyblade Masters, 7 Guardians of Light, they will more than likely aim their attention to the 7 Princesses of Hearts, which they don't want anyway, so they're going to have to gather 7 Guardians of Light regardless of whether they want to or not, because Master Xehanort is not going to wait for them. He knows that either they do it this way or he will go after the princesses. That's his motive. But he's got 13 individual Xehanorts, because some of them he has either possessed or some of them have been time traveled from their initial past and have brought into the present. That detail is a little bit vague, I will admit, but I will do my best to kind of explain that detail alone. But for the time being, though, we're going to go ahead and talk about the 2 new organization members that have been added onto the list. So let's keep in mind that in terms of what we knew before trailer, there was obviously Master Xehanort. There was Semnis, which is the leader of Organization 13 in Kingdom Hearts 2. There's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. We also have the fact that we have Sigbar, which is Briggs, and then we have Saïx, which is Isa. We then also have the fact that we have young Xehanort appearing in this one as well, and he is seen within Kingdom Hearts 3. So right there we have almost half the roster, being that of 6 by 13, so I mean you might as well say it is half. So while we know that detail alone, we have 2 new members of organization that have been revealed to us. The other 2 being Lucia and Vanitas. So these 2 are key components in order to figuring out who the other organization member is going to be. And I say they're key factors because that practically talks about, okay, I think I know where this is going. So let's first talk about Vanitas' appearances. When you first see him in the trailer, it's obvious he's in an Organization 13 outfit, but he also has his helmet on. In Burst by Sleep, he's seen with the helmet all the time. However, when he finally made his reveal to Vanitas, he basically had the look of Sora, but with black hair and gold eyes. So, like I said back whenever I talked about my reaction trailer video, it makes sense for Vanitas to be in it because of his eyes. Now, people are going to say, well, that could be anybody, because Ansem, the Wise, has yellow eyes as well. And that is true. But that makes me wonder if they aren't planning on using that as a key component as well. Who knows, really? In fact, he's even wearing an organization coat within the end of Burst by Sleep. So that makes me wonder if he isn't going to be a member of organization to begin with anyway. Now, record, one can argue, well, he's trapped within the realm of darkness, and technically the suits are supposed to protect that user from the darkness itself. And that is also true as well. I'm not going to say anything anymore because, quite frankly, we still haven't got enough details to give us a full explanation as to Ansem the Wise part within Kingdom Hearts 3. That still has not been revealed, nor has it been confirmed that he is a member. For all we know, he is trapped in the realm of darkness, and he's there for a reason. Who knows, really? But, Vanitas' appearance in Kingdom Hearts 3, it does a number of things for us. Number one being, the Unversed are back. If you don't know, in Burst by Sleep, it is revealed that the Unversed come from Vanitas because of his dark presence. He was created from Vanitas. Xehanort basically separated Vanitas' heart into 2. It separated himself and the darkness. He practically pulled the darkness out of Vanitas' heart, and thus created Vanitas. I accidentally called Ventus Vanitas. I'm just going to call him Ven. It'd be easier. But because of Vanitas' birth, Ven became a completely broken being. And it's because of a new-hearted being that of Sora, according to some fan bases, that he was able to be whole again for a brief moment of time. And it was then later on discovered at the end of that game that once Ven's heart was completely broken again because of the battle, he then migrated his heart into Sora's heart to stay there for a moment of time in order to rest, in the hope of rebuilding himself properly. In which Sora, as a child, took him in order to protect him. Now, while that may be the case, it actually shows in the trailer. Now, record, it's all in Japan, so for all I know, I could be completely wrong. But from the way it sounds like when they first encounter each other, where Vanitas and Sora meets, Sora ends up having the reaction of Ven. Because if you've noticed, he has that emotion of like, did that just come from me? In which case, Vanitas responds that Ven is still very much within him, and he realizes this. So, that means that now Sora realizes that there's some other being inside of him. Obviously, he has forgotten about this over the years, but he's starting to realize that there's somebody else inside him, aside from trying to get Roxas. So he probably realizes now that there are two key characters that he carries. There's Roxas, being that of his nobody, and then Ventus, a being who has lost his heart and has migrated into Sora's heart itself in order to seek protection. And Ventus is starting to come out to some degree because of Vanitas' appearances. So that's the second part. The third one is that it basically tells us that the chessboard that we have seen in the very early trailers of Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually confirmed. Now, back whenever Kingdom Hearts 3 was still in the early phases of development, we saw Ericus and Xehanort playing chess. People have assumed that chess, as well as Square Enix said entirely, that chessboard is key components as to who the character is going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, while that may be interesting and all, there were only a couple of characters that was revealed that everyone could resemble. But the key one was Vanitas being a possible organization member. The proof of that was one of the chess pieces had what looked like a two-halved gear piece on the top of it. Where do we see that anywhere in Kingdom Hearts? Vanitas' key charmed from his Keyblade. It has that same feature. In other words, a lot of people assumed that Vanitas was going to be part of Kingdom Hearts 3 because of that. And it's now discovered that yes, he is going to be there, and he is. So, that means that we can already figure out who the other organization member could be. Has not been confirmed yet, but we have an idea as who the next one's going to be. One of them being Lordix. Lordix is an organization member that we don't know a lot of details of. We only know him because he appears in Kingdom Hearts 2 as well as 358 over 2 days. Aside from those details, we really don't know much about him. So, to see Vanitas in Kingdom Hearts 3, there is a good idea that he will be in it as well. Whether or not that's true, that's a completely entire different story in general. But the fact that Vanitas is in it, there is a good possibility that the next organization member we see is going to be Lordix. But there is something else that needs to be talked about that a lot of people didn't really think of. And that's Marluxia in Kingdom Hearts 3, much less Marluxia in Organization 13. I want to bring up this detail because out of all the organization members we have seen thus far, Marluxia is the only character we have not seen with the different color eyes. Every member of the organization has this key trait, has this key feature, because technically they are the individual selves of Xehanort. Marluxia, on the other hand, has not got that feature. In fact, from what we can tell, he is still very much the same character that he played in Chain of Memories. But, is he the same? Like, is he the exact same person that we know of from Chain of Memories? And I say this because if he is Marluxia, we can assume that he was brought from the past into the present to fill in the seat for the Organization 13. That would be the key ideal. But the fact that he doesn't look like he's been possessed tells me he's acting as a double agent. I say double because technically he would be working for the organization, but then he would be doing it for himself and trying to gain control of Organization 13 for himself. That's what I'm thinking it is, because unless his eyes eventually do change color, I'm going to assume that he's not really a member of the 13 organization of 13 Xehanorts. So, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that there's another reason why he's a member. Or for that matter, it just hasn't occurred yet. If he is a true organization member, he would have to be possessed by Xehanort. So, maybe there's more than one way for Xehanort to use them, instead of it being just 13 different Xehanorts. But that's what I was assuming, because in Chain of Memories, Xehanort basically says that he plans to use 13 different Xehanorts, and he was originally going to have a piece of his heart attached into Sora's body to where he can control him. He ends up failing because of Axel. So if we're going to assume that he is using 13 different Xehanorts, we're only going to assume that Marluxia is also a part of Xehanort as well. However, that is not the case. It seems like he is very much still Marluxia. He even responds by saying, "It's good to see you again, Sora." Sora, Donald, and Goofy have no idea about this because of the fact that technically they forgot about this. See, that's the thing that people don't realize. Technically in Chain of Memories, they were to forget all that happened in Chain of Memories. Sora has an idea about who Nominate is, but he has no idea about the other organization members. So therefore, he has no memory or remembering of who Marluxia is. But Marluxia does. He still remembers Sora. In which case, this probably takes place somewhere before Sora defeats Marluxia. Or, again, if we're to take that he is actually himself, being that of a whole being, that means that essentially he remembers what happened when he was a nobody. So, we're going to assume that technically Marluxia is perhaps his whole self. We're not going to assume that he is perhaps maybe still a past version of Marluxia. We're going to assume that he is himself. And then one other crucial detail that I want to go ahead and get out of the way is that of Riku and Mickey in the second trailer of Kingdom Hearts 3 D23. That trailer only purpose was to showcase, or at least soundcase, should I say, the new soundtrack theme song for Kingdom Hearts 3, which is Don't Think Twice. And I actually like it, I do. A lot of people say it's a little bit slower pace, but it's actually nice. It's actually a little bit relaxing. I'm sure it's going to change for the opening, but I imagine this theme song is going to be towards the ending credit scene of it. But, the biggest thing that happened in that trailer was the fact that we got to see Riku and Mickey's new looks. And they are digging it. This is probably the nicest looking set of outfits I've seen. Like, I admit, Riku's outfit in Kingdom Hearts 2 looked pretty cool. But I'm not going to deny whenever I say that I actually like his new look now. He actually looks more grown up with it. And he's got a haircut too. You can tell he's got a haircut. It's like, wow. Riku looks nice. Riku looks nice. But Mickey, oh dear God. If we saw Mickey was gangsta with his organization outfit, he's looking pretty pimped in that outfit. I cannot believe I actually said that word. Please somebody shoot me right now before I get worse. But the outfits look awesome. They really do. They look fantastic. Which means there's a good chance that we'll see Kairi in her new outfit eventually sometime soon. But I'm hoping to see Axel in a whole new outfit as well. Because technically he's no longer a member of the organization. So therefore there's no reason for him to wear the black cloak anymore. So hopefully he'll have a new outfit entirely as well. And I'm hoping his outfit will more or less resemble what his outfit looked like in Birth by Sleep. But obviously a little bit more update, a little bit more edgy, sort of like how Sora, Riku, and Mickey's looked. Now we've seen an art version of what Kairi's going to look like, but we've never really seen it in its full CG look in Kingdom Hearts 3 yet. So hopefully within the next trailer they'll reveal those two, because obviously Axel, aka Lee, and Kairi are key characters for the Guardians of Light. They're being trained as mastered by Merlin the Wizard. So in other words, we have Mickey, Riku, Sora, as well as Axel and Kairi, which is 5 so far. And a lot of us assume that the other 2 characters are going to be Aqua and Ven, or Roxas for that matter, because if Sora's going to try to bring Roxas back, and how, I don't know, there's a good possibility that Roxas could be the next Keyblade Master. We don't know yet. We have no idea. Because in the last trailer, not this last trailer, but the trailer before that one, it was revealed that Sora's trying to bring Roxas back. How and what way, we don't know, but the only way he would do that physically would be as if Sora fell into darkness again and his nobody self came out. So, there you go. But that would be counterproductive, I believe, because I believe the organization would want him either way, whether he becomes a Heartless or not. It's one of those things. But a key crucial part within that portion of the trailer was that Riku was holding his broken Keyblade. I don't know if you realize this, but this detail alone is very much crucial, and it could play a part in a later scene in Kingdom Hearts 3. For example, we've never known a Keyblade to actually physically break. We've never seen one. And if so, then what are the conditions of it to actually break? We're not really given much detail within that trailer. Like, we don't even know how it broke, or why it broke. But Riku doesn't have that shocked look on his face. He just has a look of, like, determination and clever thinking. So when he shoved it down in the sands from where we've seen him in Kingdom Hearts 2, as well as Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Fragmentary Passage with Aqua and Ansem the Wise, he said that it would be used for his other him, the other self. And when you hear that, you're trying to think what Riku meant. And I don't think a lot of people realize that this part alone is a key crucial part in the story. So while Sora is trying to recover Roxas, but also could be trying to recover Ven, Mickey and Riku's part is to try to save Aqua, or to attain other members for the Guardians of Light. However, though, when Riku said the phrase, the other him, this could be a number of details that could be anything. It could be anything. We have no idea how to take in this information. Because, again, if we're to assume that he's literally saying the other him, there are 3 connections to this. The one main one being that of the replica Riku, which was in Chain of Memories, which, if you remember, he's already gone. But there could be a chance that maybe he might make a reappearance. We really don't know. The other him that we're referring to is Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, which technically he was possessing Riku at the time, but we can also assume that technically there could be a part of Riku that's trying to come out, being that of Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. So another Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness is a possibility. Because he still haunts him to some degree, but Riku still has the ability to control the darkness and to push him back, as we have seen in not Chain of Memories, as we have seen in Dream Drop Distance. He has continued to push him back regardless of his efforts. There is also another character, being that of Terra. In Burst by Sleep, Terra actually introduced the, forgot what that's technically called. It's been phrased, actually. It has been phrased. But it's more or less of handing down the Keyblade to the next generation. It's like, if I fail my duty, this Keyblade will find its way to you. So obviously, the Keyblade is actually a part of Terra. So, with the fact that Riku's blade was broken, he's probably referring to the fact that in case Terra finds a way to come back, that Keyblade will be there for him. So, because if it does end up being Aqua, I'm not sure, because even Aqua realizes that Riku has the potential to wield the Keyblade because Terra was already there. So there's no real reason to assume that it could be Aqua, but because of the fact that this is the Realm of Darkness, that's the only other key trait. But that part of the trailer had me so mind-boggling confused. I was like, okay, the sword broke, and Riku referred to another self. What does this all mean in terms of the story progression? It could be a number of things. We still have no idea, nor do we have any key details as to what this might lead. It's still puzzling to me. It's almost as puzzling as the fact that Maleficent knows about the black box, because by the end of Dream Drop Distance, she's still looking for the Book of Prophecies. In this case, though, she never got it, but the fact she knows about the black box means that she probably already figured out about it, or she had her hands on the Book of Prophecies, in which case it could mean big trouble for the rest of the Kingdom Hearts characters. Now, according to the developers, they say that Pete and Maleficent don't play no big part within Kingdom Hearts 3. So if they do play a part, it's mostly to tell the audiences that technically, if there is going to be another Kingdom Hearts game in the future, which there will be, it's going to concentrate more about the Masters of Masters, being that of the 5 Masters when the whole Kingdom Hearts lore began, being that a Kingdom Hearts key back cover. So, we're going to assume that Pete and Maleficent only play a small part, which is to talk about the past, but nothing else. So, how much is that true, we don't know yet. For all we know, Square Enix could be trying to cover up the major part of the detail, and they could play a big part within the story. But for the time being right now, because we haven't really seen any more details of Maleficent or Pete, we're going to assume that that's what they are. They're just there to reveal that, yes, the Masters of the Masters are actually within Kingdom Hearts 3, but they don't play a bigger part. This is solely about the Sora group against the Xehanort group in the clash for Kingdom Hearts. So that's the only thing that we know of as of right now. But that's all I want to go ahead and talk about, because those 2 trailers alone give us a pretty good idea of what to look forward to. They're big hints. Regardless of what people say, they are big hints. And whether or not we're going to take these as literal hints or just partial hints, we really have no way of knowing, but we will find out in due time, whenever Square Enix finally reveal us the next potential trailer. Which at this point right now, if they do reveal another trailer, it probably won't be until literally E3. And that's going to be the date that they revealed the release date for Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'm still on the fence of it probably being released within November or December. But like I said, if for some reason Square Enix comes out and announces that it's going to be released within probably August or sometime after August, then that day is going to be the day that I'm going to be in the hospital. Like, literally, my initial reaction is going to be me connected to an e-machine as it monitors my heartbeat and me passed out because it was too much to take in. At that point, I would literally write down in a future note saying, please wake me up a week before Kingdom Hearts 3. It's like, I need to be awake during that time. But as of right now, we have no major details as to its official release date, which is probably a good thing because the president has stated that it will be revealed within E3, and it's been even confirmed by today's press conference by basically saying the phrase, it will be at E3. Before, the president said it will be released at the end of the second term. This time, it's said at E3. So it is going to be at E3 that we get the release date. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about the new trailer, as well as what you hope to see within the next Kingdom Hearts trailers. And I will see you in the next video. This is BlackCross, signing off. Take care, guys.